At Skytree, we have a very long-term and grand vision. That is to develop our CO2 removal technology to such a large and efficient scale that one day it could reverse climate change by taking the CO2 we emit back out of the atmosphere. We have a slightly shorter-term goal, which is more tangible and has more direct impact on all of us in the meantime. It's quite simple. It saves energy, it reduces cost, and has a positive impact on our health. If we were to measure the CO2 level in this room right now, it would be about twice the outdoor CO2 level. CO2 in indoor spaces affects concentration, tiredness levels, and is generally an adverse cause and factor in human health. Currently, so this buildup of CO2 currently is solved by conventional HVAC systems. These systems bring in outdoor air to flush the CO2 that builds up in indoor spaces. This has two problems. The first problem is that it also brings in outdoor pollution, which is not a good thing, especially if you're in even more polluted cities than London, such as Beijing or New Delhi, for example. The second issue is that all this outdoor air has to be processed to match the indoor air temperature. So it all has to be heated and cooled. And this can take up to 40% of the energy available to a building, and even more for cars, decreasing the range of cars and increasing the cost of managing buildings for building owners. So what's Skytree's solution? Well, we remove this CO2 buildup. And by doing that, we reduce the cost for building owners, and we extend the range of cars, especially for electric cars. How do we do this? Well, we use an electrostatic CO2 scrubber. It's small scale, safe, low energy, and can work at ambient temperatures and pressures. This is the only technology currently that can remove CO2 from indoor spaces in vehicles. There's nothing on the market right now. What is the business model that we're taking? Well, we will begin with licensing our technology to car manufacturers. In parallel, we want to develop the same technology for buildings, and we will sell units directly to building maintenance providers. Unfortunately, our material doesn't last forever, so it does need to be replaced, and, well, there will be a business model for cartridge replacement as well. I don't think I need to tell you that the automotive market, our entry market, is absolutely huge. About 90 million cars were manufactured alone last year, and at a licensing fee of about 12 euros per unit, we're looking at an overall yearly recurring revenue of over €1 billion. Now, when we enter the HVAC market for buildings, and assuming only 5% of buildings out there have advanced ventilation systems and are well sealed, which is where our technology works best, then we're looking at a far bigger market. So who's the team doing this? Well, we're about 8 scientists and engineers. My co-founder, Shubham Sandeep, exited his own solar power company before joining Skytree. I used to work at the European Space Agency on this CO2 extraction technology before founding the company. So we are expecting to turn over €500,000 of revenue this year alone. And I'm really happy to share with you today that we announced that we kicked off a partnership with Jaguar Land Rover in March of this year to integrate this technology into their cars so we can extend their range. Currently, we're raising we've raised €600,000 already. We're closing a Series A round now in order to accelerate the time to market and develop our technology more robustly. We expect our first product to be off the line, integrated into cars by 2020. But to save time, in parallel, we want to kick off development for the building market. So after this, I would love to talk to you more about how we're removing CO2 to save energy, to positively impact health, and hopefully one day drive a carbon-negative society. Thank you.